volume, everything, I believe, is coming through. A couple minutes early, but it's okay. What's up, Ken? You did have first comment. I think you had that on there a while ago. What's up, Darren? Hey, audio and everything coming through okay. It's been a while. Xavier's RC. Sorry, it's been a while since finished a live stream. Process of moving back to Wyoming. Live after dinner. Nice. Oh, it's been a while for me too. I kind of took the summer off and then had plenty of other stuff kind of going. So it is perfectly fine. Try to get back in the swing of these things. Ken, first is first. This is true. This is true. You are first. Gary, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we're back as best as we can be for now. Just put those right there. So, been a while. Hope everyone's all in good. Nice Trucker, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so I was like, well, actually, I think I got everything pretty much lined up. I was like, you know what? I think we can fit a live stream in tonight. So, I got $10 saying Darren is eating something. I'm going to go with naked in a beanbag chair eating Cheetos. Hope everyone's been all well. Like I said, yeah, it's been a bit since we've done some live streams, so here, might as well try to get a few in, I guess. Been busy, as you can see by the videos and stuff. Xavier Darcy, just in time. Yes, just in time. Ow, itchy. But as you can see, we've been busy. We've been rocking out, getting some new builds and everything else going, and more stuff for the SCX6. This thing is just a monster. Joke's on you, already finished eating. Nice. I just ate pizza. And I'm out of ice cream, so kind of sad now. You know what, this SCX6, I'm glad it's fun to drive because honestly, everything else about just its size just makes it difficult. There we go. Woo. Woo. Ken, let's hear your opinion on the TRX4 Emmy. I think it's a score for Traxxas, for sure. So we have the regular SCX24, and then I picked up one of the FMS's. The scale on these were pretty good, but these are 18 scale versus the 24 scale. I mean, size-wise, they're similar, but honestly, like the 18 scale, I think you can, with the looks, you can just, if they're just that much bigger, that everything just looks better and honestly more proportional. Now, naturally, of course, they have their Defender and the Bronco, but they have a bunch of colors. And honestly, in my opinion, what else got Traxxas good on that one was they already have a wave of products ready to back behind it. The trailers, the other utilities, beadlock wheels, colored everything. So, I mean, Traxxas came out swinging, jumping into the mini game. And like I said, size-wise difference, honestly, I mean, 18th and 24, yeah, body-wise and everything here, it's more scaled out. So there is a little bit of size difference, but I just think it's better. And screws are just a little bit bigger on the 18th scale, which makes them a lot easier to work on. Doing all this on the kiddos truck and doing these tiny, tiny beadlocks, I don't think, after doing these, I don't think I will ever complain about another set of beadlocks again. Everything on here is just so tiny. I had to dig through because I was like, I know I have miniature tools somewhere, so I had to find them. And he really wanted that one for the Crawlapalooza too. Indy, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Yes, it's been a while. Need that shift. Yeah, that's the thing. Those 5th scale servos are they're something else. They are monsters. Right now, I'm just rocking. I think I have a cheap Amazon one in there for right now because I almost toasted. Like you could already feel the stock one was kind of giving, But while it was still good, I pulled it out. So I'm going to turn the stock servo into a servo winch for it. And then I will probably break down. I'm just going to have to get a servo probably before Crawlapalooza because we are doing some SCX6 stuff. So we'll see how that's going. Xavier's RC. In the meantime, picked up Armor Sit 3S short course. This thing, nice. I had an fully built Arma Outcast 8S for a little bit, but then I luckily was able to trade it for the SCX6. I said I love building the Basher stuff. It's just I go out, I can go out 2-3 weekends in a row and have an absolute blast. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of bored with it. So we just move on from Basher stuff. Donnie, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Building my AR-45 Portal G-Speed while watching. Nice. Very nice. Shane, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. It's not the size of your truck, it's how you drive it. I think we're pretty solid there. That meme I just shared was priceless. Weight matters, I'll prove it. Hey, I mean, in the right courses and instances, a monster heavyweight truck can put in work. Now, honestly, how much weight I shaved off that 6.6, pulling all the panels and everything else off, and even just honestly the stock body alone was a huge weight savings. And the Gladiator is, well, it looks good on there. We all know I'm just not a huge Jeep fan, so as soon as I can get my order in for the full honcho setup, the body, the cage, the bumpers, we'll get the SCX6 honcho body for it because one, it just looks better, in my opinion, and I think that style honcho is going to fit it really, really well. Jack, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Brett, how's it going? Indy had my V3 Phoenix tumble off a 60-foot cliff. Survived, ripped a tire, and locked up a shit. Dang. Woo. Well, dude, that could have been a lot worse. We saw at Nationals that truck that went off that cliff. It did not end up well for that truck at all. I think the only thing that survived that one were the Vanquish axles. Ken about to hit 14 pounds on the new Blazer. Dude, that's honestly, I need a weigh. That BGR Wraith it's got to be close to 10. Honestly, it does with everything on it. It's got to be up there too. But it did great yesterday, especially the weight. You're going to have a huge advantage in the sled pull because you're doing the TTC stuff at Crawlapalooza, right? You're going to have a huge advantage in that for sure. Honestly, even the mud pit, depending on where we get it, like last year, it wasn't that bad. So last year I broke an axle or a drive shaft halfway through, and I finished the mud pit in two-wheel drive. So luckily I broke a rear, so my front was still able to pull. You're not gonna make it, dang. But I totally understand. Said I'm kind of getting as much as I can out of the way now. Some of you know, just local wise anyway, do have a kiddo on the way. Me and the wife are expecting, so that'll be here about January. So I'm trying to get as much in as I can before we dive back into that world. These are just so, I think, if I were to take these tires to work and put them on the Hunter machine, I probably have good luck with it. Yeah. No. These things are ridiculous. Cha. Sorry, let me get this tightened up real quick. Before I move on to the next one. Whew. But, I mean, these just look so good. Same wheels that I was using, I just changed out. Went from the stock tires and little dual stage foams to the Swampers just because these tires look great, and some nice anti-foams for them. Definitely needed to get those, as those like Pro Line style stage foams are they're too hard. Even for the weight of that truck, they take a while to break in. Indeed, no. Ryan is Shift RCs. Scott, what's up, man? How'd you do at King, Missouri? We had a great time. Jake actually took 4th in Class 2, and I think he top 10 in C3. I was not driving good at all. I spent most of the weekend judging. I think between the 2 days, I had about 24 hours of judging in between both the days. So by the time I got done judging and started driving, I drove. I had some good moments. Wasn't mad at all necessarily. It was all mental mistakes. The trucks and everything did great. It was just all little mental mistakes and just tired and hot and wore out. But overall, still a great time. Courses were a little gnarly. In Class 2, we had 3 courses for Class 2 set up. Out of 67 drivers, only 7 finished all 3 courses. That's how that one went. But overall, still had a great time. Super fun. I think next year, Jason is changing locations on King, Missouri, looking for some different areas with some more overall rock and stuff like that. So excited about that. Man, I'm telling you, I can just take this to work and put it on the actual tire machine at this point. These things have enough size to them. Those are crazy big. Loving the new Honcho body. Might have to get. Yes. Honestly, like the SCX6 Honcho, I think looks way better. One, like I said, hashtag no more Jeeps. I'm tired of seeing RTR Jeeps. Like I said, I'd rather have generic bodies on RTRs and stuff like that. But that Honcho looks good. It does have a full interior, all the lights, the bumper looks good, the cage looks good. The only thing that was kind of curious and I think kind of had us all surprised is, the SCX6 with the Jeep and everything, it's $1,100. The Honcho, which is a non-licensed generic body. I mean, they have licensed tires, but that's the same on both of them. A licensed Jeep body for the main one, we understood that. But for the Honcho, it's not a licensed body. Why it shouldn't be the same price necessarily. Now I understand the cage and everything else, but I mean, that does have an interior. The stock Jeep body does have an interior cage and an interior, and it does have lights too, and full-size front and rear bumpers. I think most of us were expecting it to be cheaper. I think I would have liked to see the Honcho come in at like even $1,000 even, or like $950 or something like, or $900, something for not being a licensed body. But I mean, the SCX6 is still a monster. Those are big electronics, and everything else on it is just massive. Like, I don't think some people still won't realize just the size of the SCX6. Like, here is half the front drive shaft. Here is a full-size drive shaft for our little tiny 1/10 cars. Like, half. This is just half of the front, and the front's the shorter one. Full-size drive shaft. I mean, we'll work on these in a second, but I mean, here are the axles. Like, these are massive. I mean, they're on a scale of their own. Well, 1/6 scale. I mean, I guess if we're really talking, but yeah. Yeah, I'm right there. No more Jeep. I'm kind of there. Trying to talk to wife into getting a new Honcho. Thought about the Deadbolt, was going to go SCX6, not a re-release. That was another one. I understand why they did. They're keeping, it keeps the 10.2 platform as a whole going, but you wanted to refresh it. It wasn't really a refresh. It got just because it got different like actual Spectrum electronics in it now doesn't mean that it was better. They're still stock RTR Spectrum electronics. They're still living on borrowed time. And it got a couple new colors on the body. Not a big deal. Most of us can get a clear body if color was a big deal. I was really hoping that deadbolt would have been either on the Basecamp chassis itself, or a Basecamp with portals, or Basecamp with straight axle. Like, you had the Basecamp platform, which is going over great because it has all the great parts of the SCX without the shitty transmission that the normal 10.3s come with. Like, that's your dumbed down version. That's your cheap version. A lot of people weren't fans of the Toyota-esque body, but the deadbolt's always a crowd favorite. Everyone likes the deadbolt body. All you had to do is take the Basecamp body off and a deadbolt on it and a different front bumper. Could have called it a day. Blind RC, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Might as well use those axles as weight for a workout. Hope all's well, man. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, though, like I said, and honestly, I was going to wait on axles. Well, I only got one. I got the front. I was scrolling around and Amazon had the front axle in titanium. For whatever reason, it was $75 off the other day, and they had like 2 left in stock. So I was like, we're gonna order one. $75 off. So I'm kind of digging with it. Hey man, do you know anyone that ever made a different transmission gear set for the 10.3 to make the 2-speed worth it? No, not that I'm aware of. That was one of the big letdowns with the transmission, is the 2-speed. There wasn't enough difference to really tell. It's like, yeah, another gear set, because there wasn't a huge difference between first and second. So everyone just used dig, but you know, a 2-speed's nice. But no, I don't know any other sets that came out. I tried to swap out the stock transmissions as fast as I could. Now, like the 2-speed on the SCX6, that's a monster. That is a noticeable difference. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna be sweating here before too long. Last tire though. 3 are done. This is the last one. Matt, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Well, and yeah, Gary, the price point, I get the price point. It's cheaper than the deadbolt. But honestly, if they had just kept the deadbolt the way it was before, it was even cheaper. And was still, like, they re-released it. I guess you could say they slightly upgraded electronics, but raised the price, what, $50? As the deadbolt was, what, $289 or $299? And now it's $350. So re-released it. I think for the money though, unless you truly want straight axles, the Basecamp's the better deal. Or maybe if they had, instead of doing single piece AR-44s, if they had put 3-piece AR-44s back in them, it would have been better. But again, that's just my thoughts on it. I think if they had put it on either the Basecamp with portals or made a Basecamp with straight axles, it would have been an entirely different. Everyone would have had a entirely different take on it, for sure. I've been happy with it. If that had been the case, it probably would have been on the list. But since they did it the way it is, honestly, even though I already have a Phoenix, the Phoenix straight axle is on the list now ahead of that one. And plus, you know, the Phoenix is just a fun truck to build. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the original deadbolt was cheaper. Gary, have you seen the video with the Tulo? Yes. Team Garage Hack made some adapters for their Tulo to fit in the SCX6. And it's pretty gnarly. I think they are trying to work on something else for it. Not 100% certain. Which is very, very cool. Now, if you are getting an SCX6, if the events and stuff are big in your area, definitely that's going to be something that people will stall and start looking at and investing into. Like I said, I'll be doing some events with it. Just, Crawlpalooza has one. But honestly, like I still have enough fun just trailing with mine, and taking it out like night runs or anything like that. So that's still going to be its primary use. So I don't want to overdrive the crap out of it. I still want it drivable. All right. Those are done. Let's see here. I have to get mine. Blanca, I think the Deadbolt is its own truck. I have one and built it up. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Some people just, I mean, the Deadbolt's just a fun truck, and it has always been the better price point of any models out. So, um, yes, I mean it's still going to sell. It's still going to go over, and yes, it's still at a good price point for people trying to hop into the hobby and want a good RTR. I mean that's definitely price wise. That's right there in the realm. You have that. Let's see, the Element HD is what, 375, and the base camp's 389. So you're right in that, $20-$30 range, between great starters. Shane, last night on SBG, Axel Rep was saying that a new guy on the project did that before anyone could even realize. Definitely wasn't a new release. Ugh. Yeah, I miss part of last night. I only caught it at the very end. I need to go back through and watch it. Theron, I don't care for the Phoenix. You don't care for good stuff. The Phoenix is a trail truck that happens to still be able to perform good at times. And you built yours with straight axles right off the bat, not the Phoenix Portals. The Phoenix Portals are pretty nice. Blank Garcia, I will be buying the straight axle. I will be buying the straight axle Phoenix, but I want the new BXR2 series, that Land Rover one. Phoenix just put a 2800 kV system. Yes, those BXR chassis sets are pretty sweet. I really wanted to get the LC71 when they had it. Actually, I think they still do. So maybe someday I'll be able to snag one of those. It'd be sweet. I don't like the VS410 chassis since my first B3 build. The axles are pretty tough. Yeah, it's true. Basecamp, performance-wise, yes, the Basecamp is a better performing truck, but looks and trail and everything else, the Phoenix is still superior. But like pure performance, yes, the Basecamp's better. The Basecamp's better than, honestly, probably any RTR truck performance-wise. That's just the way it is. They hit the weight on it good. The portals are good. Like the Basecamp was a great release for performance, or even building off of, is great. I mean, we've seen what our base camps can do. Granted, I never get to drive mine anymore because everyone do those comps when I'm out of town. But this next weekend, if we're using stock trucks, right, for that tag team trail comp thing. Gary, run the Exo chassis now. Picked up a builder tester at the first run. Got offered team driver. Nice. I'm actually doing an Exo after Crawlapalooza. Yes, I talked with several of the guys on there. Yes, the Exo. I probably will be getting the L Captain, the Class 2 chassis set up. We'll probably be doing that either for mess with the Kiddos Class 2 or this thing. This is probably going to be like my donor truck for builds, but I also need to get the Carmworks Reaper chassis as well. So those are two chassis that I want to get on here next for builds and stuff like that. Duh, we are, Gary. I don't know why I don't associate YouTube names with Facebook names a lot of times, but I do that all the time. Sweet. Oh yes, yes, yeah. The social media indie, that is a huge part in a lot of it now. But honestly, I mean, you're helpful and active and stuff like that. Um, yes. They're out next weekend, Matt. Yes. Okay. So stock trucks next weekend, tag team. Okay, sounds great. Uh, yeah. My bad, Gary. I know it's there. Like it's associating. I think. Well, for example, like other people here, like I know their name, and they have different names than on Facebook, and it annoys me. Matt. Theron's the only like normal one that I can recognize on a regular basis because he has a cute little picture. No, I'm good with not comp, no cash comp. I'm gonna set up gates. I mean, I'm setting up gates. I'm running some courses this weekend, but just trying to get some stuff in. Blind guy, become a fan of Helmet recently. Got a good deal on the Ecto for $200 Canadian. But still, that's a pretty good deal on the Ecto. So it's my class 2 build. Actually, is pretty good. Yes, Element. I love the Element trucks. Kiddo's got an Element. I've done several Element builds from stock to converting them over to chassis, and they are great. They're super fun. They have a ton of support and a lot of stuff interchanges and stuff like that. um, are you serious, Matt? All this time? Theron, did you know that? Well, now the more you know. But yes, the Elements, they're a blast. The HD, the Gatekeeper, I have my Gatekeeper still. Ecto, super, super fun trucks. And honestly, they can take a beating if you don't get the gray housings. If you get the black plastic housings and everything, much stronger. Alexander, do I run MOA trucks? No. I have not got into the actual comp crawler side of it yet. I've driven a few here and there, but I do really want to start looking around. I think it is time to get a sporty build going. Um, One of the things that really kind of hinder me from that is there is no one in our local area that runs any of that. One guy here, he did have a super, he built a full on Holy Grail super. And then he was like, well, there's nowhere I can run it. And there's not. And honestly, our local area is not, I mean, we would really have to do some stuff to make it challenging for what those trucks can do. And we're not going through that much craziness. Um, but so the only time I would be able to do those is at like big events like King Missouri or Crawlapalooza or any others that I can kind of sneak in. And also like that type of terrain is totally different. So I will at some point. Actually, I think a couple guys have offered. I think I may be running one or two or running someone sporty at Crawlapalooza. But after I do all the TTC stuff, because the TTC stuff is super, super fun. And when I finish that, then I'll go do some sporty action. Scott, I've been loving all the different chassis you've done. Built a new Crupcrumworks Ninja C2. Been killing it. It's my new favorite. Yes, that Ninja looks sweet. That looks really good. Do you get the Scott? Did you order the new hoodie? In case you didn't see, the Crupcrumworks, those new hoodies, pre-orders dropped today. And I know you're going to Fall Crawl, so if you pre-order, I think you can actually put a code and order it and pick it up at Fall Crawl. So order a hoodie because they're sweet looking. Because that is my favorite shirts that I've got lately. Yeah, I'm gonna do social media, RCS, stay out of all the drama. Yeah, honestly, Indy, that's the right thing. Like I'm there, and I mean, we see lots of drama, especially at like events. Like it doesn't matter what hobby, what size toys we play with, from these to full size trucks to go fast anything. Every hobby, everything, doesn't matter. There's always drama. So you just do your best to, it's like, whatever. I'm just over here building and playing with my tiny trucks. Worry about all that other stuff whenever it is actually concerns me for the most part. I'm right there with you. Alexander, there's no one driving Super Sporty MOA locally either, but someone has to start. I ordered parts for a Super and MOA. Learn how to make gates and lines. Yes, that's another thing. Those builds are something crazy. I would honestly, if I do a Sporty, I would probably do something. I would probably either do Sporty with probably that the XR10 with AR44s or Capra axles. I know there are lots of kits that you can take a box Capra and put it in a Sporty chassis, at least to get you started and let you get the hang of it. But I just haven't really. Like I said, there's a lot of videos and lots of stuff to take, because that's a whole nother monster. Like those are, when we talk about our comps, these are scale comps. Those are actual comp stuff. The stuff they do is ridiculous, and it's so fun to watch. Like King Missouri last year, I sat around, I watched it for a good couple hours, just watching all the stuff, and it was crazy fun to watch. Gary, come out here. Rocks as far. As you can see, nationals for MOA and Sporties out here, ran by the guys I comp with all the time. That's right. Are you going to Pro Line by the Fire, Gary? I can't remember what you said. Because you're out there with yeah, you guys, your area is ridiculous. Like, that is such a freaking awesome area. Mark, looking at getting the G-Made GS02F bomb. What's your opinion? I do not have much experience. I don't think I haven't done any of the G-Made builds. I thought about doing the buggy one for a little bit, but ended up getting, I think I probably went with a Wraither bomber. So I don't have much there experience on those. Carrying the Crumwork swag is sick, and for the hoodie, but I've got the shirt from the first release. Yes. Yes. I wanted this shirt so bad. Like, this is one of the coolest, just the shirts. The whole bright colors, the 90s theme. It makes me feel good. Yeah, the blue is crazy. Yeah, I got the blue and gray for mine. Since I got one of the original shirts, the pink and green, I wanted to get the blue this time. Project 1. I want to build a C1. What body options do I have? I mean, honestly, there are options out there. Depends on your creativity and stuff like that. And wheelbase. Now, granted, stuff can be done to make work. Your commons are and easiest to work with are the Toyota Hilux, RC 4-wheel drive Mojave, the Tamiya F350, the Tamiya Tundra, if you can find one, because they're non-existent right now. I think that I have a cab I've been watching. It's at like $50 now for just the cab. I'm like, I knew I should have bought extra ones. And my new class 1, I went with the LC70. I've been wanting this body for a long time, and finally snagged one up, and I did a little paint job on it. I like black, so we went with black. But there are body options and stuff out there. Just how much work do you want to do to a body? What type of wheelbase you're looking at? You're looking at short wheelbase or long wheelbase. Width necessarily depend on your axles. If you need a little wider body or a little narrower body. But honestly, your easiest to work with are the Tamiya Hilux or RC 4-wheel drive Mojave, because it's got a good wheelbase. It is wide enough and has accessories to make it wider, like fender flares, and it already has the drop bed done. You just need to cut the back half off to shorten it up or to bob the bed, and you're good. The F350, the body lines and everything on it are great. You just have to make a drop bed. This one's disappearing because Matt is getting this one, but I mean, the curves, everything here are good. It is a little bit of a narrower body, but AR45 portals and everything, I got it to fit just fine. And then simple, making a drop bed's not that hard. And it was really good to go. Windshield, you don't need much. You just put a piece of Lexan in there and call it a day. But yeah, there are definitely options and stuff out there. I see a lot of people with some of the Nikon I said that totally wrong. You know, the other cars like that, you can get the bodies off and make stuff work. So, I mean, kind of, it's one of those things, imagination and how much work you're going to put in, how much, really opens up all of those options. These monsters off of here. I mean, there we go. Our normal, everyday tires we crawl with, and these monsters. Ridiculous. Oh, those are going to fall. Raymond, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Oh, yes, you are going to Proline by the Fire. Nice. Man, that week of October, Proline by the Fire, Crawlapalooza, and Super Shafty Fall Crawl. Like, that is an action-packed week. East Coast, Central, and West Coast, East Coast, and Central. Packed. I really wish, like, they had been even opposite weekends. Like, I could have made something, because I would like to go to both of those events. I want to go to Fall Crawl super bad. I want to go by the fire just because it looks fun. But Crawlapalooza's 2-hour drive. It's easy, and it all just happens to be on the same weekend. So, really want that new SCX6 honcho. My favorite, really. Yes, the honcho is sweet. Xavier, what are some good short course tires? These stock ones are ripping up crazy. I honestly don't know much about the short course tires. I've only had a couple short course trucks. Everything else has been X-Max, Outcast, Maxes, like some monsters, or Mojaves. Like the short course stuff, I've never been much for that. I want big, so I get big. Alexander, did you come to test out the TRX6 Bax axle with open closed differential? It's the new norm in Norway now. Works almost like dig, but still legal. And capper front, it's amazing. No, I haven't really messed with it much. I mean, honestly, the only TRX6 I have is the hauler now, so I don't. It's just there to take my comp truck to the next course and back, or cruise around. Like, it doesn't do anything crazy or technical, anything like that. Gary, what do you cut the hard body with? My 350 was my first hard body. I need to do the drop bed and bob. A couple things. Dremel always works if you are good with the steady hand and whatnot. But I picked up off Amazon. This is a Tamiya craft blade. This works great. This thing is probably my favorite to like cut, and really you can get really nice areas and cut. Also, I have just a regular hobby thin blade. But in all honesty, go down to Ace or whatever and grab a pack of just hacksaw blades. I mean, you don't have to go full length like this. They have shorter ones too, but honestly, I cut more bodies with just the hacksaw blade, and then I can go in and do finer trimming or angles with the Tamiya blade afterwards. If I'm cutting like big, huge, rough chunks out, or like class 2 or whatnot, Dremel or full-on hacksaw and just go to town. But for like class 1, where everything needs to be good, hacksaw blade, and this little guy does wonders. Stella. My V1 C1 has a Cross RC SV4 hard body. Ooh, that's another good body. With drop bed, interior engine cover. Yes, that's another one. Cross RC, their hard bodies are really good looking bodies. They generally come with quite a bit of stuff with them too. Gary, yeah, October's crazy. Prolonged by the fire. The VQ comp season starts with the Halloween night poker run, all 3 weeks in a row, and they're talking about Clash will be in October next year. You need to stop moving stuff to October, or maybe like all of the organizers can just kind of, because everyone knows everyone, the big organizers, like everyone could just like collaborate and like put a week or two in between some of these things. Fuck you, fly. Because yeah, that is starting to be action packed, and I'm kind of curious because apparently Nats is. Well, I'm sad because I don't like flying necessarily, but looks to be in California for next year. I'm really curious to see when. So like I said, January. I'm gonna be very very busy. Um, but if it's like late, if it's like April-ish again, I think we can pull that off. Really don't want to because honestly, California is just kind of one of those things. It's like I could live without ever going there necessarily. Now, the desert area, like that area, and North California, like those areas are pretty dang beautiful. I just don't want to do with anything else towards the ocean. Alexander, meaning the back axle on class 2 with 2 axles to open makes possible turn. I'll have to look at that a little bit more. Oh yeah, I did that once, but I know I see what you're saying now, Alexander. Yeah, I did work with the TRX4 with the locking disc, but it was just too much, especially on my class 2. There was too much going on, too many little servos, so I just got rid of it. It just worked better for me. Gary, wish all these organizations would work stuff out. I think Nats might be my area next year. So yeah, that'll be much closer for you, for sure. That's what I'm hearing anyway. Is that's what's going to be. I was hoping somewhere. I was hoping Midwest or even like Colorado or something. Like, that area is still pretty good and there's plenty of stuff to do. But if I have to fly, I have to fly. Not a fan of it. Sure, I can just drink the whole time and probably survive, but the TRX6 is, yes, that's right, the TRX6. that's that middle one. That's right. I'm hoping to catch comp at CRV in October. Oh, that sounds pretty fun. Yes, I could start working on this thing. Need to swap some stuff over real quick. Goodness. Oh man. Man, this chat goes wild sometimes. Walk away for like 2 minutes. Everything's crazy. Goodness, 1 second. Oh man. Oh, we're just gonna have to worry about all that stuff later. There's too much going on. So, anyways, and those are massive. Hopefully, this won't take too long. Everything is just ridiculous. How long it's been since I've had to use a 3mm tool for anything? A while. Like, I actually had to look for it to get this. And, like, the wheel nuts. 10mm. The most, elusive creature of all the sizes. And that's what we use. What work mat do I got there? So this, I cannot remember who makes it. And it was my sister and I each won one of these at King, Missouri, and it is flipping awesome. I am actually going to reach back out and see who made this, because I want to order another one. This thing is awesome. It has all the pockets there, and each pocket's like, we see my videos. This is all I've been building on, and it is nice. The other night, I wanted to go in the living room and watch some catch up on some shows, and I just picked this whole thing up, went into the living room, watched my shows, and then picked it back up and came back in here. It is super awesome. I don't think, price-wise, I think they were very reasonable, but I definitely want to get another one. You can never have too many good work shelves or work benches or mats or anything like that. Yes, it does. After this, I'll have 50 plus messages to read and wake up in the morning with. Yes. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's a good time. But if you, like I said, I mean, you know what it's like. Like, I just got a glimpse of it, and it already, like, populated. Crazy. Sometimes these chats just go crazy. And naturally, I posted on my local page, I did a for sale post before I started. So I'm getting messages and stuff in regards to that as well. So it's just all around busy right now. Ha. Don't need that. Oversized bearings. Nice. I don't know what those are for. Let's see. It's always the 10 millimeter and the 13 that's gone in the set. See, 13s, I don't worry about. Toyotas don't use any of that. It is, you give me a 10, 12, 14, a 17, and a 19, and a 21 for the lug nuts. I can take apart a Toyota probably all the way to the frame. Like, it's pretty good. Like, I had to do some Chevy engines a few months back. I had to do an engine in a Chevy Equinox and a Terrain, like back to back. So like the first one I was like working, I was like, a 13 wobble, a 15 wobble, and like an 18. I was like, man, I don't even know if I have those sockets. Luckily I have wall adapters, so I was able to make them work. But then, tool truck guy came by. I was like, unfortunately, I need some new wobble sockets. Or just like that one car, which kind of sucks. But I guess it is what it is. Then like the other day I had to do, it's a Nissan something. I have never in 15 years had to use a 20 millimeter short 1/2 inch drive socket. It's been there, a little snap-on drawer. It's been there for years. Working on that Nissan for the first, I grabbed a socket. I was like, all right, that looks like a 19. Oh, that's weird. It's 21. Grab 21. Too big. Like, for the first time ever, I had to use a 20 millimeter socket. It had never been used. It was still fresh. Ridiculous. You get used to the same sizes for so long, just sometimes that new stuff, you're like, why? Why did they use this stuff? Oh my goodness. Podium. Thank you. Jasper Hobbies tray. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. For the tray. Jasper Hobbies, worth every penny. These are awesome. I need to get a second one. If I leave my workbench unattended so long, the cat steals stuff. Luckily, I mean, the cat, he'll come in here and he'll just chill. I worry mostly the dogs, like they're level with everything, so they just get excited. They just come in here and like a Great Dane head can clear a table in an instant. Like he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to plow through all of that stuff, and he does in an instant. Oh, no. There's your diff. And here's a regular AR44 differential. Just in case. The size difference on these are ridiculous. Oh my goodness. so this came with those bearings. For Andy. Rescue like herself. Nice. Dallas, great job messing with you. That was good. I don't think he found it as funny as we did, though. I thought it was hilarious for the most part. Oh my goodness. I probably should have grabbed Knuckles too. No, I'm okay. This will be enough for right now. That's what we're going to tell myself anyway. Alexander, did you get the Hyrex tires? That's cut shut from your buddy. Talked about them for class 3 a while back. Can you show them? Yes, I got these from the man himself, Scott. After nationals, I was like, yeah, I need a set of those. So yes, those are my class 3 tires. These are Hyrex that are cut and shut. They're 1.9 Hyrexes made into 5.25 inch tall, 2.2 tires. So they're still 1.9 width, but everything else, all the best of class 3. They're that perfect height, 5.25. They fit your 2.2 wheels because a lot of places are starting to require 2.2s in class 3. So you want to have, but some people are like, well, I can just stretch 1.9s over 2.2s. And then they're like, okay, so now we'll set up a tire minimum. So yes, Gary, that's exactly what he's talking about. But yeah, these are awesome. I tried a lot of different tires for the class 3, and I was like, you know what? I need the man's tires. And he did an absolutely amazing job on these. And while I was waiting, like, he messaged me a couple times saying, about the delay. I was like, I'm not worried at all. You're a busy man. And he was doing a bunch of events at the time. So great. Because I couldn't have done these myself. I know I would glue my hands permanently together. Brazen Scale RC, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. See all of you guys here in, what do we got? 2-3 weeks for Crawlapalooza, which we'll actually be seeing another Brazen chassis here shortly. This is the Kiddo's new class 3. We have the high-low chassis from Brazen on here, and we'll get to this one in just a second. I want to finish this axle up. Actually, hold on. Thank you, Theron. Yes. Jasper Hobbies Trays. Yes, they do have a website, jasperhobbies.com. The trays, they have a lifetime warranty, and they're $65. Worth it. These are awesome, and they come in different colors. So we're going to have to order one. Oh man, they have a couple different. Yeah, square ones. Ooh, nice. Oh, they have little ones too. Nice. Yep, we're gonna order another set of these because these are nice. Like I said, I've used a lot of trays, and like I have plenty of magnet bowls and stuff like that, which always help too. But this thing just contains an entire build. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 builds and an SCX 4 builds in this in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So yeah, this is awesome and cleaned off nice. And like I've soldered on it, which I didn't know. I thought I messed up. I was doing some soldering and it fell right on it, and I was like, oh no. I like the solder right off. Didn't even stick, so it was great. I've drilled and accidentally drilled into it, and it didn't go crazy. So super awesome. What's phrasing? Probably. You haven't booked your Airbnb? Yeah, you should probably you should probably get that. But good thing is like Disney now, that area, like there's quite a bit of stuff. We're staying at Two Moms again. It's simple, and I'm just like kind of being there at the action. Oh man, that is getting close. That's gonna be good, fun weekend though, for sure. I'm excited. Uh, what better time to do 3 new builds before a big event? That's the way I like it. There's not a bearing in there. All right. Really not. That doesn't make any sense. There's a bearing on this side. Oh, okay. So that side doesn't have a bearing. Should probably pull out the book just to make sure I didn't like drop anything. Oh my goodness. This is a tool that is not expensive, and I apparently just overlooked this for years. So this is a bearing tool, and this is just a cheap one. And it was like $4 on Amazon. It has different steps and everything. Fuck you, fly. Different steps for all the bearings. This thing has changed life on assembling axles and swapping out bearings and stuff like that. Definitely a tool that I would highly recommend from now on. Yeah, Scott, let's dive. Yeah, I mean, the Hyrax for like our local area, honestly, for the longest time, like I did not like Hyrax. They just did not do good in our local area. But like the first time we went to like Disney, I was like, holy man, these work on everything. But again, I obviously crawl out my local area more, so they're not my favorite tire. But the C3, these do great. I think it's just the fact that it's a C3 and bigger and everything. So they work good. Now, crawlers would have been cool. I am a fan of the crawler tire. One, it just looks good and it works really, really well too. Indy got an Air 45 straight axle capper and a G-Shot since scale match. Picked up a bomber as well. Nice. Getting some good stuff rolling. Gary, we talk right back and forth at comps about tire. Yeah. I tell you what, I mean, one, here, I really like the Tusks a lot. Now, I did have a few issues at King, Missouri. It was just wet and it's a little just loose, just super fine sand, which was weird because that previous weekend or so down in Oklahoma, like I was crawling on sandstone and these were just straight putting in work. But for whatever reason, King, Missouri, there was just that right combination where stuff was slipping. So I actually changed out to the Vanquish, the VXT 2 tires. And honestly, that's kind of what's staying on there right now. One, like I mentioned, the other video, it just needs, I want some more drive time to just try to break them in. But honestly, man, they're putting in work. So we're just going to leave them on here. Oh, yeah. Alexander, I'm right there with Gary. Stand up guy. Super awesome. Actually, met him at Nats. And we talked for quite a bit. So super, super awesome. Hands down. Oh, no. There it is. Boom. And we'll put this in there. Then we'll get this back in here, and this shim. Maybe. There we go. Huh. Good. Whew. Scale. Any youngest son wants the bearded dragon now. The iguanas are where his first no snakes. I said, heck no. See, when Dallas and I grew up, we had snakes. Oddly enough, that was one of the pets that Dad was like okay with were the snakes. I was like, of all the things, like snakes are the fine one. You're okay with the snakes, but we enjoyed them. They were fun. Like they really were. They were definitely very cool. Gosh dang it. There. Yeah. There we go. Whew. All good. He did a set of crawlers and didn't like them, so I gave him Wyatt. He has those on a C3 now because that's all. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like I said, tires, honestly, it just comes down to your preference. People just will like a set of tires, and they will make those tires work, and they will drive on those tires enough that they know exactly what that tire can do on any and all terrains. Now, when it comes down to it, I was talking to Jonathan in King, Missouri, because he was asking a couple questions about the Tusks. Now it's handled, but Hyrax is one of those tires that no matter the area necessarily or the terrain, you can almost know and guarantee that the Hyrax will at least perform. It is going to at least work in just about any area. May not work the best as some tires in that area, but they're still going to work. You're not going to get, like completely let down or whatnot like that. So that's kind of what it comes down to as well. My buddy got a set of the Tusk cut for C3, and they look bad at. Yes, I was waiting. There was someone. I think Lucas was getting a set of C3 of Tusks cut to C3, and I really wanted to see those when they were done. Because I said I've enjoyed the Tusks a lot, so definitely something I wanted to look into. Alexander just ordered a set of Tusk. Love locals love them. Landmines are great too. Tires takes up too much mud in my opinion. Yeah, if you have a lot of natural and mud. Hey, Luna, stop it. Eat your food. Don't hide your food. But yeah, I've been having good luck with that stuff. So, dang, all of that. Yeah, Hyrax don't like mud. Yeah, to be fair, depends on the mud, the thick mud, honestly, unless it's like a swamper or something like that. most tires just don't like the mud in general. Do not. Should put my gloves on. Gary, I'm running C1 Tusk for my C1 build. I love them. I love my modified KM3s on my C2. Crap, I'm on. Yeah, dude, KM3 is not a tire to be slept on, like, ever. Like, that was one of the first, like, nice, like, actual good tires, like, that I purchased myself. And I loved the crap out of them. And ran them for a very long time. And yeah, I'm running Tusk on my C1 now, and man, they are my jam. I love the C1 Tusks a lot. Why are you the way you are? No! Happens when you don't pay attention. Adam McPhee tuning in from Nova Scotia, Canada. Learned quite a bit from your videos. Got some monster trucks and a lot of crawlers. Love the hobby. Great people also. Well, thank you. That's pretty awesome. Always love seeing and hearing where people are tuning in from. Always awesome. See how far people watch from and stuff like that. So definitely awesome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Eventually, there we go. I had the shim flipped around. Was not cooperating at all. Woo. And honestly, like Gary was talking about the KM3s, that was a tire that I almost got for my actual truck as well. But they got really, really hard to find in 35s for a while. And if you did find them, they shot up in price. Yeah, I think I can, Gary, I should be able to send it to him through the RC crawler for him. I think I still have that. As long as I remember my password, I do have those abilities to get in there, log in, and I can send him some stuff. I'm gonna get this all back together. I'm just gonna say screw it and just get some like knuckles and everything else ordered and have to take it all back apart again. But it is what it is. I'm gonna kill this fly here. Yep, that'll work, Gary. Oh, Ivan, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Oh my goodness, SCX6 on this can go. In the SCX6 spare parts bin, or should I say stock parts bin. That thing is getting kind of full. I would love a video on tire mods and builds. Builds one day, not common where I live. There aren't a lot of YouTube videos. It's a thing. Like, other than like a few cuts here and there, like I don't go crazy or mod my tires very much. I do want to, before Disney, I do want to add some siping here on the Tusks before Crawlapalooza for my Class 2. But yeah, that's just, I don't do a whole lot of that. But I can look around, maybe get some info and stuff gathered up. Maybe we can figure something out. And sticker sheet. Goodness gracious, that is an axle. But it looks good though. That titanium color looks good. Now, just gotta hopefully wait and see if the rear axle goes on sale too. That was I said I wasn't planning on axles yet by any means. It was definitely an afterthought, but they popped up there at a good price. I said it was $75 off, which is a good chunk on those axles because they have a price point with them. Last two, good to go. Oh goodness. Needed that. Yep, that'll work. Yeah, I'm the same way. I tried to do a set and it did not go very well. That like I was like, maybe it's something I can try, but it did not go over well at all. I gave up in a heartbeat. It's like, yep, we're going to we'll let the professionals handle these ones. Oh my goodness. Sweet. Goodness gracious, those servos are monstrous. Woo. Custom RC, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Curve Lex and scissors and take your time. Yes, I mean, that's another thing. I guess on something like that, like I know I wasn't a patient person when I was trying. Yeah, if you just honestly, if you just take your time and some CA tire glue, it can be done. It's just getting the right measurements the first couple times and getting it all done. Ooh. Onyx, hi man, here from Rico. What do you think of the Punks 3D, the stage dive kit for the Capra, and how it performs? First, I don't have the TRX4 G-Speed anymore. The Punks stage dive chassis, I've been seeing lots of great things, and that is on the list to do. Now that we're venturing out and building different chassis, I have a list of chassis to do. The EXO US, the El Captain chassis is on the list. Got a CarMarks Reaper on the list to do, and that one is one as well. I would like to do, based on what the stage dive is, I'd like to get a stock cap, either regular with dig or 4-wheel steer, and I would like to take that and just put it straight to the Punks kit. Like I said, I've seen lots of great stuff from that kit. And it's Punk's 3D. All his quality, everything there is top notch. I've ordered lots of stuff from Punks and talked to him. Super awesome person, everything like that. Designs are really good, and the 3D printing is on point. So it's definitely a chassis that I would like to do on here very shortly. Probably more towards wintertime. Get Crawlapalooza out of the way, and then we have holiday season, so it can be a little crazy. Yeah, that's. I hear you there. Yes. So, in the meantime, what SCX6 tires and axle is done. Still got links on high clearance links have been ordered for the SCX6, at least lowers. I'm not doing all of them because that's a ton of links. I think lowers will suffice just enough for me. Customer says, is there any tire you recommend for C3 to cut shut? I personally haven't done it, so I don't know how easy each different tire is. But honestly, when it comes down to it, whatever tire, like your preferred tire, is probably what you're going to want to do it with. Also, take in mind the softer compounds do make it more difficult. Like my Hyrexes are G8, which is actually better anyway, just because comping in high heat areas, the G8 works better than Predator. So super soft compounds can be a little more difficult than G8. What I've been told, people don't like doing in Predator, they like doing them in G8. So any other tires like the Tusk. The Tusk are a soft tire. They're very similar to Predator compound. They're like in between Predator and G8 in my opinion. So they might be a little soft. I've got 3 sets of best rails from my buddy Twade and a set of four-wheel steer rails he designed as well. Nice. Always like seeing all that stuff. Curves. What about some flush kit? The curves are just going to be really. I use the curve like sand scissors for everything I should and everything I shouldn't. Cataract, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. So, what? Something else I was going to work on real quick is this. So you'll be seeing this soon. I'm almost done with it. I got a lot of the video done. Just working on parts of the editing and stuff now, for the most part. Okay. Take this servo out because it's going to the rear. And that'll go there. Okay. That's a restrip before. That'll go in the rear. That'll work. Good. Trying to figure out when this weekend, if I'm going to sit down for a few hours and build my Phoenix. Nice. Phoenix, I mean, it's always, I like building. Like, honestly, any Vanquish kit is just relaxing and kind of soothing to build, in my experience. And all the kits, it's just one that's always like, I really enjoyed building that kit. And always nice. Especially just sit down and have a good bit to just sit down and build a kit. You don't have to worry about any custom piece or stuff like that. Like, everything's there. It's good to go. You can just sit down and enjoy. I'm gonna murder this fucking bastard. no one's ever in here, and you somehow found your way in here and are annoying me. Whatever. We'll kill a fly later, I guess. But yeah, sometimes it's nice to just sit down and build a kit. Like that's one reason. I'm considering the straight axle Phoenix as well. One, I have the portal. I kind of need the straight, just like build a VS410 Pro. You need an Ultra to go with it, or vice versa. I did an Ultra first, and then I got the Pro. It's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Okay, so that is almost long enough. I have a feeling I'm going to need a couple servo extensions for this. So nothing, not going to do anything crazy on his. We're kind of hitting the last bit of my just random servo stash just to kind of get him going. He wanted to drop the dig and go 4-wheel steer. So that is what we did. So we're going to move his front servo to the rear. And then I had a direct power setting down here. Nothing fancy, but it'll at least get him going better for the front than the rear. And I'm going to be changing out some of my servos, so then I'll give him some of my extras. But overall, like I said, you'll be seeing this soon. I'm almost done with the video. Just a few more. Actually, I'm waiting on a servo mount for the rear capper axle, and then setting his endpoints and the rear steer, and his will be done. We'll get a video drop probably this weekend. You'll see I'm going to do just a build video and then some running footage and stuff like that. I think those ones seem to work a little bit better. So you can either watch the running video and then you can go back and watch the build, or you can watch the build and go watch your running video, or just whichever one you want to watch, you can watch. Instead of trying to shove it all into one video. Gary, can't wait to build my C1, our first portal build. Not a big fan of portals, but figured might help with running small. I'm with you there. I still love straight axles. And I mean, straight axles still perform really well. I mean, I did Nats with straight axles on everything. Class 1, 2, and 3 was half nap. I had straight front, portal rear for class 3, but they did great. But for C1, I totally agree with you. With the smaller tire, that portal helps offset the difference, especially we're running Tusk, so we're already running a smaller tire than most of them anyway. So, you know, it's not much, but it is just enough, and that can make a difference. And I'm really liking it a lot. And so that first time I did a C1 with portals was Ultra portal axles. They just didn't have the turning rates, but with some AR45s built to accommodate for everything, I'm much happier with this portal setup than prior. Gary, do we have any for sure dates when the new rules come out? No. It is just October. When in October? I do not know. But it is October. I'm hoping it's early. Probably my guess, because everyone's rule sets and all the events, they're already set for current 2022 rules, and also 2022 will go all the way through the rest of this year. I imagine it'll probably be maybe after that first round of events, after Proline, Fall Crawl, and Crawlpalooza. I imagine it'll be after all of those, so people don't freak out and try to do new builds before events when they don't necessarily have to. Which I'm also very interested, because honestly, the more stuff we're kind of hearing a little bit here and there about certain things. Granted, we don't know anything that's true until Okay, we're good. That was weird. I just had fiber installed, and it has been great until like right now. But yeah, I'm feeling it's gonna be interesting to see what all's out there. I heard there's supposed to be some pictures, some diagrams, and some better definitions. Which honestly, that's just been the biggest thing is the way things are worded now. It's like we know what they mean, but those words are broad. They need it, specifics. It basically just better defining everything is going to make stuff good. But like I said, we don't know how it's going to be. We can hear all we want to hear until it comes out, printed circa 2023 on the top. We'll go from there, and I will do as soon as they're available. I will actually start trying to get some videos out. The first one, honestly, we're probably just going to read through the entire thing. Read through the entire thing, try to make best what we can off of it, and then hopefully get a good list of questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to research, get all that answered, and then we'll carry over into the next videos and kind of go through each one of the trucks as they set, see what's legal, what's not legal, what I need to change, and then we'll talk about the changes. So definitely interested. I'm excited. Definitely excited for the new rules. I really am. Son of a bitch. Got one of them. AR45, yes. That's a great axle for C1. Click OC just got my Class 2 IERC build done. Nice. That's another build that I've always found interest in seeing how everything goes. Is one, IRC's great company too. I always ordered bumpers and sliders and all kinds of stuff from IRC over the while, and always had great luck. Gary, the comp series runs through next year, so it might be interesting to see what happens to the change right in the middle of the series. Ooh, that is a good question. Obviously I don't know how all that's handled, but I'd say what I would do is obviously through the end of December, if your bill passes for 2022, it passes for 2022. So either you can extend those rules to like if it goes to like January or February, it's probably fine to just keep running the same rules, or say stop the last week or so of December and take off the first week or so of January and be like build for 2023 and finish the series with new rules. That also might be interesting to see the changes in between the middle of a comp series. But definitely good, and it is very interesting because I know you, like you said, you guys do it, but there are several other people I know that do winter series, and they will start and finish. We're thinking of doing one here as well. So yeah. Are those C3 running videos with the cut Hyraxes over on page? Yes. The latest C3 video with the GK01 that has my Class 3 Hyraxes on it, and I probably got a couple before that with Class 3 Hyraxes. I've had those on since Memorial Weekend. So any videos after that, the Class 3 Hyraxes are on there. Gary, I hope they don't make it restricted. I like having freedom. I'm with you on that one. Honestly, Class 2 and 3, Class 3, there's only so much you do. It's Class 3. Class 3 is Class 3. Class 2 is Class 2. But the biggest problem with all this, it's not the rules and exploitations. It's the course building. And that's can be just my opinion, but I think others have the same one. It's all in the course building. If you're building C1 courses to a C2 truck level, obviously our C1s are going to be like our C2s. Like, honestly, if it came down to it, if I pulled my Class 1 tires off, put on some C2 tires, and threw a Lexan body on it, I'm going to do just as good with this as I am my actual Class 2. It's a Class 2 truck with small tires. Honestly, it's what it is. I know people don't like it, but it's what it is. It comes down to course building. Now, yes, I like a challenge. I don't mind winching. I like a challenge. I like having fun, seeing if I can get through it. But, when it comes down to it, the rules and exploiting the rules and stuff like that, it comes down to course building. So you can respond to the message. I can't. I'm right here. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's too much. Brett, old news thoughts on the TRX4, the K10. I think it looks sweet. Theron has the black one, and it looks good. Not even gonna lie. that thing is nuts. We're going for what? We're on here for a little bit, and the good thing is now with Messenger, it lets us scroll back to and starts unread messages from here. So you just scroll till you see that, and then you could start reading through. Like, honestly, it takes me 10, 15 minutes to catch up sometimes in between responding. That's why my stuff's out of order so often. But anyway, back to Brett. The K10 looks great. Theron has that black one, and it actually did really good for the lift and the 2.2s. It did some fun, cool stuff. I know Theron enjoyed the shit out of it this weekend. He just had a smile on his face the whole time. He tumbled it and was like, oh, okay. And I was like, like I was worried that he was scratching the body too much. But he was just letting it go. You have no, what class would the K stock with the tires and everything? It would have to be class 3 because the tires are too big. If you swap off the tires, it all depends on the tire swap. If you put 4.75 tires on it, you can run it in class 2. If you put 4.19s, depends on your offset, you can get that to fit in class 1 too. But out of the box, because of tire size, it's a class 3 truck. And that is not a competitive class 3 truck. Just put that there now. It's way too tall. But it is good. And honestly, I may not like new Chevys, but like old vehicles, old trucks and stuff like that, there's a line, like, you just can't hate on some of the old trucks. And that one looks good. And with the 2.2s and everything, I think it's a sweet looking truck. Like, I'm looking at the red one myself. Because also I had the Snap-on Bronco, which was lifted with 2.2s and everything, and it was a blast to drive. And honestly, the 2.2 tires are not bad. That's what the kiddo runs. That's what we run on his class 3 truck, are Canyon Trail 2.2 tires that have the center lugs cut out. They're 5.3 inches tall, so they're not super tall. And honestly, width-wise, they're a little bit wider than our normal 1.9s, but the tires put in work. Once these tires break in and you upgrade put some different foams in them, these tires really come alive. And I say that with any of these stock, the actual Canyon Trail tires, tire-wise, performance-wise, the Canyon Trail is the best tire on an RTR, period. The rubber and everything is just good. Tire-wise itself, now the foams may not hold up as what the tires do, but the tires themselves, performance-wise, are great. The best RTR tire. Definitely be interested. Do we run mostly class 2 out here? Obviously, yes, class 2 is always the more popular one. But like how we did some cash comps this year, just about every weekend it seemed, and we kind of rotated them around. Next year we're going to be putting them. Mike is going to be getting them set up on a kind of a better, more thorough schedule, and we'll do mostly class 2 in those with an occasional one-off here and there. But also we're going to be working on. We're trying to get some more stuff going here. I know pop on the West Coast apparently they started to do this, like the top 10 lists and stuff like that. I'm working with the Oklahoma guys and some of the other guys, Missouri and Colorado, because Team Garage Hack's next door to us. They're in Colorado. So we're working about having some stuff between us, like shootout comps between the areas, or like, hey, you guys have a comp, your top 3 drivers, and then this area top 3 and this area top 3, and everyone goes to a location, and we have obviously it'll be a smaller scale comp, but it's going to be the top drivers from each individual area. I think that's going to be kind of fun, and I think we can have some good luck with it next year. So this winter's going to be a lot of working, on the side with some of the other local areas to get some big things going. So Custom RC, trying to decide if I want to keep or get rid of my class 1 because I built it for comps now. but I'm not able to comp with it. Do you not run class 1, or is it not legal for some reason? So yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad. I mean, stuff changes. I think it's always good to have a class 1 truck in case for big events and travel. If you go to an event, you might as well run everything you can. How's up? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Indy. Oh. With any rig, if you're going to comp, I'll put a new servo winch in it. With any new guys come around with no winch, it's a must for a comp. Oh yes, for sure. Definitely. Like I said, my first big comp was I went to Crawl Blues a few years back. I had a 12 pound TRX4, all the things on it, all the things I didn't know what to do. I had giant shocks. I had an RC full drive scale winch. It was not good. It was not good. I learned a lot. I immediately was like, okay, we're gonna do some research and watch some videos and figure this stuff out. So I went from there. Yeah, definitely. And winch, it's not just skimping on the winch, it's investing in a good winch. And a good winch is gonna be in that $100 range, give or take a little bit here and there. But because you want strength out of the winch, but you want speed. Speed, honestly, is very more. You don't want to be sitting there, at a gate, time to winch, and then just slowly reeling out your line. Where each winch, by the time you spool it out and spool it in, your winching's taking 30 to 40 seconds. Versus like when I'm using a Ninja winch, I hit the trigger, it's out and hooked up. Like that line, like I'm hooked up within a couple seconds, all the way out, truck reeled in, and then back on the truck. Like winching does not take long. Now, there is a thing as too fast of a winch without learning how to use it. Now, it took me quite a while to get used to the Ninja winch. It is a very fast winch. I like it. I've practiced a ton with it, so I've got the control down on the winch. And I've seen other people use the Ninja winch, and it is just too fast. They can't control it. They break lines a lot or get stuff bound up. So you have to find that speed. Now, granted, you can always drop voltages down and stuff like that, but winch is a must investment. Gary, the Shift, yeah, that exactly. I've seen that winch in action. The Shift XLP. It's a great winch. It has a very good and controllable speed. In the kiddos truck, that was one thing with him. I was working on winches because I wanted to get him a little speed. Yeah, there. The first time I think you used yours, you shredded it. So I didn't want to go super crazy fast on his, just because he is kind of younger on that, but you need some speed. So 2 winches, oddly enough, he used a Roadrunner for his class 2, which actually I accidentally broke a wire on it, so I need to get that fixed. But he took him a while, but he controlled the Roadrunner very, very good. Another one that he controls good. We do have the Reefs, the 300 IS comp spec winch in his class 3, and it has a great amount of speed and decent power. Now, compared to the IS, the 800, obviously that has far more power, but it is noticeably slower. This has a perfect controllable speed for him. And it's definitely one I would say look at too. And the Shift 2, also a good controllable speed. So that's just something that winching, fortunately, you may grab a couple different winches before you find one that truly complements you on your driving and stuff like that. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Xavier's RC, also on my Gen 7 Pro. It's heavy, a lot of TRX4 parts on it, about 10 pounds. Will be some good foams. I'm still running the stock foams, not vintage B-locks. Good. Man, that is a heavy truck. You're probably going to be wanting to look at probably some crawler innovation setups, because that is it's a big truck, or dual stage anti-foams with the tuning discs to fill up that extra weight, and you'll probably definitely want some tuning rods to help support the weight, stuff like that. Brett, how do I make a G-Speed G-Spot? I don't know how to actually make the thing. I have them, and I have things that work like them. Like that one there. G-Spot. I also have the coast to coast crawlers, the coasters, work great. And they're flat, and I really like them because I can actually hook them pretty good. And I've even seen just can't think of what it is. There are ways to make them. I've seen like rod ends with like bigger washer around, stuff like that. Just something that you can kind of wrap around to tilt the truck. See, the Warren winch seems good for me. Like the Warren winch for like scale and stuff like that. I mean, especially like if it's that big gray one, that is a good one. But like servo winches, when it comes to like in the actual comping in that 6 minutes, it doesn't work for me. It's not. I need the speed and the power because I'm not a good driver. So I need the winch to bail me out. I see. Looking at the NSD micro winch. Actually, I think Gary just had you on here. Micro winches don't have any strength. Yes, I'm gonna kind of go with Gary on that one. One, it really depends on your weight. Like if your truck's like for the micro winch to be truly effective, I mean your truck's gotta be knocking at like 4-ish, maybe 5 pounds. But when it comes down to it, like if you're in any kind of a bind, the micro winches they're not gonna have the power to pull you out, and they lack speed. There's not a micro winch that compares to speed wise for any of most of the full size winches. And strength wise, it definitely doesn't. Like I do run them occasionally. Like for this build, I did have it in there for a little bit, but this build one, it is not my regular comp truck, so it doesn't see regular comping. It's just kind of when you feel like running it, and the truck weighs like 4 pounds. It is a light truck. It is a light truck, and I don't comp with it on a regular basis, so not constantly going in and out. And I like servo winches, or internal spool servo winches, should I say, are my favorite and go-to. Like that's a near must for me to run it. I don't have to worry about stuff getting tangled up or coming off a spool because it happens and it sucks, and it's just frustrating when that kind of happens. Blank RC, Boom Racing, dual stage foams. Like, oh, I haven't used those, but I have heard good things about those as well. Blind guy. Alt foams, yes, you use the crap of those alt foams, Gary. I haven't tried those either. The muscle winch is, I guess that is the muscle winch is another one that is out there now, and they have that. There's a direct power version of that now too, if I recall correctly. Brazen Scale used the Team Grotchak Holmes winches with fast gear set on 4S. Nice. Those fast gears, those weren't available to the public though, were they? I think that's what I have in here. Yep, I have the Progress winch on my TTC Gatekeeper. That on 4S. That winch is a monster. It is very fast. It is a good winch. I wish I would have snagged another one of those at one point in time. I only have the one. So I just kind of keep it where it's safe because it's still a good winch. Actually, I could probably put that in the kiddo's truck. That's probably not a bad idea. Brett, TRX portals in your opinion? Depends on which Vanquish portal you're talking about. The Phoenix portals, performance-wise, are better than TRX4 axles. TRX4 axles, I would say, are probably the strongest portal in itself. Are probably the strongest portal, period. Between gears and diffs and everything else, they are very strong. But when it comes to performance, they can get handed to them, mostly the turning radius and the clearance, because the TRX portals are massive. Their C hubs are about 6.5 feet wide. But yeah, the Phoenix portals are probably the best performing portal because it's plastic, has the best turning radius out of the Vanquish portals, and are good. But truly performance wise, like an Air 45 style portal axle, super shafty like the Capra portal or the CP 43, those are going to be even on a next level above those. But between those two, yeah, the Vanquish portal will beat the TRX4 portal in my opinion, and just how I'm liking it. Jason Baker, hey, great channel, new subscriber here, new to the crawling world, and just finished up my base camp build and getting ready to start a new one. When here from Ohio, looking for people to crawl with. I'm not there. I'm a little further south, but I do know Ohio does have a pretty good support. I guess I'm not sure which area of Ohio, but I do know there. I see lots of people from there, and I know a few people from Ohio that I always see at bigger events. Click-clacks RCs, rock sliders or not to rock slide. What build were you doing again? Now that again depends. If you're going for like scale and trail and just having fun, sliders are always cool. If you're comping, that depends as well. I think it's starting to become more of a preference. If you're doing Sorka and you need the points, put them on there. But if you don't need the points, kind of get away from them because it's weight and things. Oh, you got the IRC chassis. Now that chassis, IRC sliders already do work good. I would probably trim or bend some of those corners up a little bit just to make sure they don't hang up. But if you're running a Lexan body, I guess you would have to mount it to the chassis. If you're running a hard body, for right now at least, just bolt them to the side. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure if this is legal. But this isn't done yet either. This will probably see its first rocks at Crawlapalooza, but I'm still in the process of it. But I took it the bug here. I've been doing some work. I still got some paint work to do. I have some more masks and a few other things to knock out. But I took aluminum tube and I went through the body and folded my tube around the body so it locks into place. So one, they're already nice, tight, and they're right on the body. So lightweight. I'm not going to hang up on anything. And for right now, I get my 3 points. So yeah, I'm starting to find that more preference thing. If you don't find them to hang up or have to bend on them or whatnot, they're probably fine. Also depends on if you're needing points or not points. If you don't need points, you're just looking for honestly pure performance. Full metal sliders out the way, just get you some nice thin small ones to hold some electronics. Honestly, on both the brazen chassis I made my own, just got some aluminum cut. They're high, light out of the way, just enough to hold a small battery. Okay, Jason, welcome. Kiss your thanks savings goodbye with Sabi. That is very true. This can get out of hand very, very fast. Yeah, honestly, Indy, the turn race on the TRX4 portals are just kind of that's the killer on them. Now you can do, yes, with enough grinding you can make them turn, but when push comes to turn, they lose. The body I want to do is the Kyosho Nad Wagon. I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that the Vanlin? 6 months in and about close to $1,000. And I know how you feel. Click like, I know how you feel. Like when I first got in, started getting a couple RTRs, kind of stuff added. But, and Gary knows too, like when it comes to now, when you start to just look at some of your builds, especially when you start looking at the custom builds, $1,000 doesn't go very far. it hurts to say sometimes. But yeah, it doesn't. The custom builds really, they can get completely out of hand. But it really, it's one thing with a hobby. You can go as far as you want to go in. You don't have to go extreme. You don't have to buy the craziest stuff or the names on everything. Now, it's nice, and yes, there is a fine quality difference between stuff and certain brands. There is a quality difference for sure. But a lot of times, depends on how level you're going at it. A lot of times, it's just about anything's going to get you by. So you don't have to, you don't have to go crazy. That was one thing when I did the base camp build. I went crazy out of the box. It came out of the box. It saw like 15 minutes of runtime, and it went straight to the table and was completely changed. I mean, that thing had gold Vidavon axles put in it within 25 minutes of it coming out of the box, basically. You don't have to go crazy, and I've said that before. You don't have to go crazy, but it all in your comfort level and your budget. Like, honestly, this hobby can fit and accommodate for everybody, which is one thing I really, really enjoy. Indie, yeah, exactly, yeah. You need to have that one custom build. Yeah, honestly, I think some of you saw the picture I posted when we went to King, Missouri. We had a trailer loaded with all of our cars. 1 second. Yeah, we had the trailer loaded with all of my trucks, Jake's trucks, Dallas's trucks, Kenny's trucks, and everything else. And then we were sitting there, and like we were kind of joking at the price, like, that's an expensive trailer. Like, that trailer and its contents right now are rivaling the price of the Duramax we were pulling it with. By the time, I mean, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 modified builds and an SCX6 and everyone else had at least class 1, 2, 3, a night run truck, a bouncer or bomber. So everyone 6, 7 trucks for all of us. So like the builds and the cars were there, and plus we had trucks in there and parts that we were going to sell. So it gets crazy when you actually just step back and like think, man, how much is all of that? And then you're like, ooh, damn. Gary, make my own sliders out of aluminum and do 1-inch both sides, and they're also where I mount the electronics battery. Yes, exactly. Like, just like that. I mean, obviously, this isn't as aggressive. This isn't super crazy, but simple, just like that. Some nice thin aluminum. Honestly, I've been grabbing this lately. This little aluminum sheet of stock. Most of your hobby stores have them. Ace Hardwares and places like that have them. Like, I find this width to be easy to work with. They don't bend as much, and you get a good pair of cutters. They cut right through it. Then obviously I use my vise at work and bend everything and then grind and smooth. But it's pretty easy. I've started just making all of my own sliders now. It's much easier. ClickLike's about to buy a cheeseburger trans and Draptex or Velvets. Get the Draptex. The Velvets, they're a nice shock. They're not like I spend money on stuff, but I was not preparing by any means to drop $200 on a set of shocks. Now, wrong, they're good, but Draptex are a great shock, and they're gonna do everything just as fine and good. And Team Brew motor, nice, good. They make some great motors as well. Gummy, what? I think you've asked that before, and I never understood that question. Never totally. But that doesn't really ask questions. I mean, it's either this or my actual truck. Like, at some point, I've always had a hobby, whether I'm driving and building cars, or I'm building my truck, doing all the overland stuff. Like, at some point I have my hobby, and it's my release. It's after work and everything else. Life, I was like, this is the hobbies. Yep. But yeah, we don't. Like I said, we don't talk about the cost. But one thing that I need someday, I want a Ripper. No reason. I just think it would be really cool to have that piece of history for a little bit. But also, I do want a good truggy setup. That's one thing like I don't have and never have had is a good, chassis truggy build setup. Like I've looked for some of the Trojan Fab ones that did it with the Tundra bodies. I really want to snag one in Colorado. I just didn't have. I was getting ready to travel for something. I was like, dang, it has just great price and everything, but just the wrong time. So I had to pass up on it. Jason, in a new build, Mamba X or Copperhead, do I have a preference? Both are good. Mamba X is overall the better ESC. One, it can handle more power. It has better features. And the Copperhead, unfortunately, had problems. Depending on which run of Copperhead you get, I've had 4 Copperheads. One of them was a complete dumpster fire. The other one was like hit and miss. This newest one that I picked up was okay, would have been great, and my very first one was perfect. I had no issues with the very first one and this last one I bought, but the two in the middle, I said one was a complete dumpster fire. I ended up literally just throwing it away. The other one, I had issues back and forth. The latest update has taken care of it for the most part. I haven't had any issues in a while. Saltwater fish, yes, that is another. That I know exactly what you mean there. That can get expensive real quick. What's a good C3 tire? Would you like to do the same tires on the truck? Was there different foams, or would you cut some? Okay. So either cut and shut tires or just a regular C3 tire that does good. I mean, honestly, if you can find them, the Voodoo KLR 22, it's not a bad tire at all. It is, I think it's 5'5" tall, so it's not super tall. Width-wise is okay. Honestly, the 22 Canyon Trails, if you cut the lugs out and put some good foams in them, they work. They work really, really well. Other than that, like honestly, my experience with most of the 22 tires are like the Bajas and like the USD Stickies, like monster tires for like my race and my bouncers and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, I would do it's a cut and shut tire. Is my opinion. It gets 2 wheel, which is generally required for most C3s now at local stuff. And like I said, we're starting to see a tire minimum in C3. Generally, it's 5 inches or 5.25. So 5.25, 1.9 width. I think it is honestly, it's the perfect combo for C3. Yeah, drabs are nice, really nice, smooth. But yeah, I agree with Andy. The Mamba X, I mean, both will work. Both will work just fine. But when it comes down to it, the Mamba X is a better ESC. It just is, and it will definitely hold up and handle a lot better. But anyway, we are going to wrap this one up. I have a few things to do. Gary, we have a chat to scroll through and get caught up on. Jason, Mamba X is much appreciated. Thanks all. Yep, not a problem at all. So, anyways, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in for the live stream. I know it has been quite a while, but you see, we're getting some stuff rolling. So hopefully all's well. Next Thursday, we should be good for a live stream for the next couple weeks, for sure. Maybe even I'm going to talk with a few people that are going to Crawlapalooza. Might try to do a live stream Thursday night at Crawlapalooza because I do have service down there. Slacker. Yes. All right, Indy, we'll do. I will log on to RC hopefully later tonight and after I reset all my stuff. But anyway, so yes, we should be good for a few live streams for the next couple weeks at least. So again, thanks for tuning in. So everyone, have a great one and crawl on.